This 2022 film has been rated on Rotten Tomatoes by critics 89% and by the audience 64%. Now, this is a referral from Adan, and this is our movie review of The Northman. Guys, if you want to learn how to save money in gas, groceries, restaurants, check the description below. It's not a sponsor. We don't get any kickback from it. It's just our saying thanks for our viewers of watching and listening. Also, check the description below on how you can save a life or two. Spoiler alert. Based on your recommendation, you're telling me that this is ultra violent and you're going to be shocked. And I saw it last night on Amazon Prime. And
I believe my words was, yes, it's very violent in certain scenes, but it is not what you anticipate. It's like inspired by or the precursor to Shakespeare's Hamlet, but it's very entertaining. Now that I mentioned Hamlet again, does that make sense for the movie?
Now it does.
Ah.
No, you know what it made sense to me though? I was thinking about Oedipus Rex. Is it Oedipus Rex?
Oedipus Rex. Ooh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Never heard. No, I remember hearing about Oedipus Rex, but I don't remember seeing it.
Well, Oedipus, no, it's not. Well, the story is like a child leaves and comes back, and he like falls in love with his mother, and
this story was before Hamlet, right?
Around that, but let's see, the Oedipus complex. The complex of emotions aroused in a young child, typically around the age of 4, by an unconscious sexual desire for the parents of the opposite sex, in which to exclude the parent of the same sex.
Okay,
but I mean, there's a play called Oedipus Rex.
Okay, Oedipus. So I feel like I could be wrong, but I think this is based off the story that was before Hamlet that kind of influenced Shakespeare to make that. Because if you like knowing what Hamlet is and or Oedipus as you're describing it, now that you watch the movie, it makes a lot more sense putting the two together.
Regardless of that,
it's a weird film.
Boring.
Boring.
It's a boring film.
Because it's long?
Well, for that, yes. It's all over the place. It also had ties of like Jesus in a way that in the Bible, the New Testament, we have like the birth of Jesus to a certain age limit, right? To like what, 7 or something like that. And then he disappears. There's nothing about him in the rest of the Bible. We don't get his teens. We don't get him like what have you. We see him again when he's around 30, like 3 years prior to his crucifixion, his death. And here's pretty much the same thing. We see him as a young boy introducing his family and backstory. Then he escapes and we see him again as an adult, that he's with another tribe, another clan. And he gets reminded like his purpose, because when he leaves, when he escapes, he has this thing I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill your uncle.
It's like his mantra.
That. You're right, exactly. But again, I was bored. And not that because I was bored because of the pace. Action is very little. I would love to have more backstory on him, like how he became so vicious, because in the beginning, when we see him as a boy, the mother saying he's fragile, he's not a leader.
He was like a prince, like, and like treated like such, like not in the like prince warrior, prince like, here, have some tea.
I guess he was like delicate, what have you, even though the father was
a warrior.
And I mean, granted, this movie has all-star cast. Like, I didn't know Ethan Hawke was in it. I didn't know William Dafoe was in it. I didn't know that
Nicole Kidman.
What's her name? Nicole Kidman was in it. And I think there's another one. Oh, Bjork. I didn't know she was in it.
Yep.
It wasn't an all-star cast. It had like some like the main thing. And then the guy from True Blood, the lead.
Skarsgård. But
Skarsgård, yeah.
It for what it was a small cast too. When you think about
yes, you could say that too, right? Because it was like the main characters were the stars, and then 2 of them were like for 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
But like I said, I would like to see him like get tougher, and because he was fragile and he was, and it was kind of weird too that he escapes relatively easily. He's walking right by them.
He did cut off that one guy's nose.
That was the hardest part. But then again, he's walking right by them in a cloak while the clan is killing everybody else in his vicinity, and they're like letting him go.
That's true.
And I was like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. You have another actress that was in, I can't remember her name right now, but she was in the Queen's Gambit.
Oh yeah, she was like
No
in
story.
Peaky Blinders and a bunch of other stuff.
She's the main, yes, she's the love interest. But this story about a Viking or a Viking culture, Violent Night was more violent than this.
True. Yes.
It was extremely violent. Now, there are some scenes in this one that was violent, but very minimal. Like the one where the guy has his nose cut off and then Skarsgård comes in and says, pretty much he says, I'm going to finish what I started.
Yeah.
And you see the sword go through
the gaping
hole and through the head, and you see the guy just freeze and to death, actually.
Yeah.
You have two friends of the son that were like mangled
and they were
hung up in like a horse. They're like shaped of a horse or something like that.
I thought they were shaped in the form of a cross or something like that, because I think
I couldn't tell. It was so fast that the scene or the shot that I couldn't really focus, and I didn't feel like rewinding it. But it looked like it was going horizontal more than vertical. So it could be a cross, could be I don't know, but that quick scene was pretty grotesque.
The berserker scene is what it's called, is where they were like all chanting, and it's the first time you see him as an adult, and he's raising.
The wolf, that beast.
Yeah, and then the scene where he fights his uncle.
See, for me, that was blah.
I thought it could have been better. I agree with that.
It could have been better
for that scene alone, because it was anticlimactic in my opinion.
Right. I mean, I personally would have liked it if he lived, but I guess it's a tragedy, and in tragedies like Hamlet, everyone dies pretty much. The only thing that didn't die was the Ophelia character, his love interest. That would be Ophelia in Hamlet if she killed herself, but she didn't. She lived.
Yeah, because she had to. She prophesied that they're a child, so become.
No, he prophesied that he saw that she had twins. Oh, yeah. Did she prophesize that they will be? I don't know.
I thought they both.
He saw that maybe. Well, yeah. He had powers too, that he could foresee the future in that sense, and it made no sense. Like, when he realized that she was pregnant, that I said this to Kim, and I was like, he says, I got to go back. I got to stop him. If he finds out that you are pregnant and we have kids, he's never going to stop. It's like, they don't have cell phones back there. No one's going to know. You're going to leave. You disappeared. I know. It's like, how fast that we're going to travel that you got to go there. And I was like, come on.
Oh, now I remember. He was also given a prophecy by William Dafoe, and that was part of the thing. Like, he was told that he would die in the lava or whatever.
Right.
So like
he knew he didn't know about that. Like, he knew, which was kind of funny with the sword.
Oh, the cursed sword.
Because it was like Excalibur that it couldn't unsheath. Was it just at night? Because he tried to pull out before, and it's like, no, it wasn't at night, because he couldn't pull it out to kill the uncle when he was trying to sleep with the girl.
Yeah, that was during it was going into like a dusk, or the sun was coming up, if I remember.
Come on. Well, no, nothing. Okay, it was dark in my eye. From my TV, it was dark, and the sword couldn't pull out. Screen. Then the guy,
or maybe it was, like only until like it's ready or something like that. But you're right. The sword had a mind of its own.
And that fight scene of the protector of the sword, that was on his mind. Yeah, but it was on his mind.
Yeah, that was trippy too.
This movie would be awesome if you were taking something.
I remember,
because how trippy it is. It's like, yeah, okay, then my mind can wander and I can see things that they're seeing.
And you're not wrong, because like I had the same exact, and I knew you were gonna have the same question as soon as you told me you were gonna watch this movie. I'm like, oh, he's gonna ask me about this. And you sent me a text message like, why does she have braces?
Oh yes, the Valkyrie.
I had that question before I watched the movie, because I remember watching the movie in the trailer. I remember watching the trailer. I go like, I'm gonna go watch the movie, because I'm watching the trailer. I'm like, everything makes sense. I get this, and but why does she have she has braces in the trailer? I gotta watch the movie to figure this out. I watched the movie, like, never got that answer. I'm just gonna put it to some weird prophecy acid trip that he was on, because he was dying.
But couldn't it be? Well, no, that was.
Yeah, he was saved by the girl.
That's when he was saved by the girl, right? Not when he was total on death's door.
Yeah.
But why couldn't they fix that in post?
I don't know if they wanted to. I don't know if there's something to the whole braces thing. So like, I never got that answer.
They could have, in my opinion, give a little more backstory on him, and I would like to have seen a better relationship with him and Odin.
Yeah.
In a sense of like Valhalla, like he's gonna die, like he wishes to die. It's like, so be it. If I'm gonna, if I'm gonna die to have my revenge, there should be some kind of, yeah. I know he had it was prophesized by William Defoe's character and was
Yeah.
prophesized by Bjork's character, and I think it was also prophesized a little bit by the other male witch that had the head of William Defoe.
I thought it was the head of his father.
No, no, I think it was him because they killed the father first and then
Yeah,
later.
but the head of his father.
It kind of looked like William Defoe's head, but
It was withered.
It was weathered, and yeah, so it looked. Now the Oedipus thing, the scene where we find out that the real portrayal, the real enemy, is the mother.
Yeah.
When she kisses him, knowing who he is, trying to trick him and all this stuff. That it reminded me of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Of course.
All that incest stuff.
Yes.
So maybe Hamlet or Macbeth. Maybe it's a combination of stuff because Macbeth is kind of like the same thing where the queen is pulling the strings.
Maybe I was thinking about Macbeth, but either way, yeah.
But you're not wrong. No, he's like Hamlet, like or Oedipus. Like he's the cross of or the mixture of the two. Skarsgård's character. He is the mixture of Oedipus and Hamlet, no doubt. But she seemed more like the Macbeth, Lady Macbeth.
Which makes sense.
It does, and
they kind of do have that old timey speech way of talking.
Okay, so that's what also got to me, the talking, because it felt like I was watching a play set to film.
So it makes even more sense that it feels like you're watching a blend of Macbeth with Hamlet.
Well, the dialogue, the pace of the dialogue, or the cadence, if you will. And it was just like, it felt like they were saying lines instead of acting the lines.
Yeah.
A lot of it. I would appreciate it more, and it would probably been probably been a better film if they had it in the native tongue.
Ooh, that would have been interesting.
It would have been interesting. You can feel the emotion better there, in my opinion. I could be wrong, and it would have been tough to do. They did it in. I know they did it with Mel Gibson's Apocalyptico.
Apocalyptico, and then
like that, right?
And then they, of course, did it with Prey.
Well, they have that version in Prey, where you can watch it in Comanche if you want to. But I just think that would have been nice to have that to hear it in the
Is it
what's
Nordic?
The Nordic? Let us know. Is that Nordic? I'm saying Norwegian, but it's kind of it is Nordic. Sorry, you're right. It is Nordic.
Or Norse, because like technically it's like old.
But if they gotten close as possible, that would have been
still would have been cool.
It would have been cool. Then you would have gotten that emotion, I think, out of it, because the English language sometimes, even though it's written in English, sometimes it misses its flavor than say it's done in the original language. Oh, where's that one with Mark Dacascos in French? He did a French film and he learned French for it. The Wolf.
Brotherhood of the Wolf. I did love that.
Brotherhood of the Wolf. That was done in French, and everyone was French except for him, and he learned French for that role, and it made the whole thing better.
Yeah, because if you watch it dubbed, you could tell. It's really different. But watching it in French, it feels more natural.
And there's a rhythm, there's a flavor to the language, or a rhythm to the language, and so that gives it a little more oomph into the story, into the dialogue, into the feel. So that's just my main thing about that. For me, this is borderline waste of time, one and done.
It's fair.
I'm with the audience score here. This in the 60s, and I'm being generous with the 60s. What about you?
I was more leaning towards the critics. One and done, I'm fair with. I'm good with one and done for me, but it was definitely worth the watch for me. Granted, I saw it in theaters too, so I don't know if that might make a difference. Like, what they were in Iceland. I've always is my bucket list place of wanting to go. Iceland. It didn't look like they were in the best parts of Iceland, but it's like supposed to be a very beautiful spot. And so like I was just like in awe from the scenery to the story, this placement, and I don't watch many plays, so that was my take of a play. Now that you mention
Right.
it, so for me that was I got it, but I don't need to watch it multiple times.
Also wanted to watch it because Jeremy Johns, shout
Hmm.
out to him, great channel,
I
great
think he liked
podcast.
it.
I don't, yeah, he loved that was his number one
Oh, okay.
for 2022. That was his number one. So I was like, okay, I got to recommend it by Adan. Jeremy Johns, he said it. It was good. Then I watched it. I was like, who are these guys lying to? I mean, granted, opinion is a matter of taste, right? You know,
It is.
everyone's entitled to our opinion. Well, Batman was number two, the Batman, which I find a much better film overall than the Northman. It's violent, better story, pace, all that stuff. I mean, if they edited down the Northman, maybe it would have been better. But like again, if they did it in the original tongue, if that was possible, if they gave a little more backstory of how man child or the child boy became a man, a fearsome warrior, that would have been cool to see. Because we just see it happen. We don't see like how he got
True.
founded.
Well, here's the
And
funny
then,
thing. Like a little bit before Northman, I watched the anime Vinland Saga, which I've told you about that
oh
one
yeah, yeah,
too.
that's on Netflix too right now, right?
It is.
So
Originally it was on Amazon,
okay,
and Netflix also. I think they got it in both areas, but
okay.
Netflix has it in English. Funny enough, similar storyline, more flushed out.
Well, yeah, you have a whole season or two or three to
Yeah, but like
give out a better story.
so just a quick synopsis of it, you'll be able to tell the similarities. The father was a Viking. He married an heir to the king, left. The father was found, essentially assassinated. The boy sought to seek revenge on the one who killed him. But now this is where it gets the difference is the boy joins the crew. Well, it's actually kind of similar. Joins the crew of the man who killed his father, grows up underneath this man in order to get strong enough so he can kill him down the line.
Right.
Now the difference is the mother was not in the picture in this. Like the mother is elsewhere, but there is a sister, and so you're spending the formative years of watching this boy become a boy to a teen. And as a story, we're not there yet. And the main story, I'd be probably season 2 or 3. But right now he's in his teens and he's a Viking raider. He goes out on missions and he just raids and kills and does missions until he earns the right to kill this guy.
Well, this is also similar to The Last Kingdom, which is on Netflix. And there's some similarities. I think is based.
Wait, the Korean?
Maybe not.
Is that the Korean show?
No, that's The Kingdom.
Oh.
And that's about zombies.
Oh. That's what I was asking.
No, this is The Last Kingdom. It's British and it's about Vikings. And then you have the show Vikings.
Oh, I haven't watched those.
That one, they're kind of parallel to one another, but you have the thing where the main character, Uhtred, son of Uhtred, his father was killed by his brother. And then he was adopted by another clan. And then he takes a long, like several seasons to come back to get his revenge. He misses the revenge on the uncle because I believe it's been a while, but I believe the uncle's son killed the uncle. That which Uhtred had to fight and killed the son, his
so
cousin.
the uncle's son killed his own father.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There's been so many episodes and there's so many shows now and Vikings all over, like so many Viking shows. And I love watching Viking shows, but now I'm just getting so confused. But like I said, you watch Vikings and there's another one called Vikings Valhalla, which I believe is a sequel.
Yeah, I heard that's like a spinoff
of Vikings.
Yeah.
And it's on Netflix, where Vikings is currently streaming on Hulu. But anyway, all right. I'm done with this now. I can't talk anymore about this. So, guys, have you seen The Northman? What do you think? Do you like it? Am I just spoiled? Let us know. Also, if you have a movie that you would like us to watch, please let us know at tales2bros@gmail.com and we'll check it out. Until next time, we'll be the next time. And Happy New Year. Totally forgot to say that. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.